Hey, and a good Tuesday morning to you. What I'm going to talk about today is some things that um, parents are generally nervous and afraid to talk to their kids about. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that for you. All right, girls. As you can tell, I am female. So, I'm going to talk to you about getting breast and having a menstrual cycle. And this generally begins when you are at the middle to end of 11 and hitting 12. Your body will start to change and you will start to develop breast. And somewhere between the end of the fourth grade and maybe the start of the fifth grade, you will get what is called a menstrual cycle. Now, what that is it is the breakdown of the inside of the uterus. Because you are not pregnant, your body will discard everything that is in the uterus because it's not needed because you're not pregnant. And so what happens is these materials flow out through the vagina in the form of blood every month, and we call that a period or a menstrual cycle. And this generally, like I said, begins to start developing between the late stages of 11 and the early stages of 13. So between 11, 12, 13, your body will start to go through changes. You will be leaving your small childhood and becoming a young woman. This does not in any way make you grown or ready to go have sex. What this means is you're maturing and that you are developing in a manner at which you should be. And someday, when you are much older and much more grown, you will be able to reproduce children, or you'll be able to get pregnant. And so, right now, your body is preparing for that. Now, just because you're preparing doesn't mean you should run out and do. Your body has started preparing every month to be pregnant. And when you are not, again, you will have a period because your uterus will disregard those contents because it's not needed because you're not pregnant. And so this is a normal process, guys. This is something that happens to most every girl. Again, it does happen between the stages of late 11 and early to mid 13. Now, guys, some of us are late bloomers. So if you don't get your menstrual or your period during this time, don't worry about it. I was a late bloomer. I didn't get my period until I was 18. I had my first cycle at 18. And again, this stage of development, or whatever you want to call it, will be referred to as your menstrual cycle, your cycle, or your period. So when you hear someone talking about your cycle, your menstrual, or your period, they are referring to the process of bleeding through your vagina. Now, this can last anywhere from 3 to 7 days. Now, if it lasts any longer than that, you might want to check with your doctor just to make sure it's okay. I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm not sure how normal it is to go past a 7-day period. It could be, for some people they do It has been my experience over the years, though, to 3 to 7 days is a normal. Again, check with your doctor. Now, when you are getting ready to start your cycle, your breasts can be very tender, your moods can be very up and down, you can start to crave food, you can start to have cramps. And let me tell you, sometimes I get this an entire week before I actually have my cycle. So it just varies from person to person. Some people never experience cramps, and I think that's great. Now, it has been my experience when I have cramps, I sit in a nice hot tub of water, and that usually will relieve my cramps. Some people tell me taking things like Pamprin, Midol, Advil, over-the-counter simple pain relievers have been known to work. So you just have to experiment and kind of find out what works for you. Now look, guys, if you're young kids, be sure to let your parents help you with this process, because trying to do it alone, it can be a scary, scary experience, especially when we're talking about the development of our bodies. So don't be scared to talk to your parents about these changes, because girls, they are absolutely, absolutely normal. So hopefully your parents are watching this video with you, or you're going to go discuss this with your parents soon thereafter, or they have placed you in front of this video. Because sometimes parents don't want to talk to their kids about these things because they don't know how to bring it up, or it's embarrassing, or whatever. Let me tell you, I've talked to my kids about a little bit of everything. So let me tell you this, guys. Once you start your menstrual cycle, you can now become pregnant. Now, so let me tell you, just because you can does not mean you want to. So I'm here to tell you, don't have sex. Now, in case you haven't figured this out, and I'm going to outright say it, girls have a vagina and breast. And I'm going to tell you that during that time of the month, your breast will become very, very sore. And maybe not for everyone, but it has been my experience that during that time of the month, mine become very, very sore. So you want to be careful. And some people have clothes that they buy that this is my cycle clothes. I mean, from underwear to bras, whatever. You know, this is what I wear this time of the month. This is what I wear the rest of the month. You know, I've had girlfriends who will not wear white underwear during that time of the month because they don't want to stain them. Don't blame you. You know, and then the rest of the month they wear their pretty flowery white background patterned underwear. You know, like I said, girls, babies, guys, you want to talk to your parents about this stuff, because it's an adventure. Being a female, our life is an adventure, and our bodies go through several changes from birth to becoming elder. And the first stage is being an infant, and then a toddler, and then an adolescent, an adult, and then a senior. So we go through many changes, and we go through many developments, and along the way, we if we have someone who has gone through the stages before us, if we can talk openly to that person, then it is a lot less scary and a lot easier to go through. And developing should not be a scary experience. I mean, I don't want your little girls or you little girls to wake up in the morning with blood-stained underwear and a little blood on your sheets and think, oh my God, I'm dying. You're not dying, guys. And moms, dads, we should not leave our little girls to think that, because it's so unfair to them. Let me tell you, that's how it happened to me. I was not told, not explained, not aware, and totally unprepared. And I woke up one morning and the blood was there, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to think. I was scared to talk to anybody. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't know how to protect my clothing. I didn't know anything about pads or tampons or, you know. But over the years, like I said, I've come to realize, and I said this at the very beginning, that I do not insert anything into my body that is man-made. And I'll tell you, because I don't have faith in it, and I'm not trying to get this little syndrome called toxic shock syndrome. Our bodies are not meant to take in, whether it's orally, vaginally, or anally, unnatural sources. So wearing a tampon, although some women do it and they get away with it, and they've done it and there's not a problem. Me personally, I just don't. I go with the natural flow of things, and I wear sanitary pads that go outside the body, and I've never had a problem with that method. I don't use birth control, nor have I ever used birth control, but that's a whole nother video. Again, unnatural things can be a scary process in itself, and that's something that needs to be discussed with you, your family, and your doctor. But I'm gonna stay on track here with talking about the menstrual cycle, because I think young girls, need to know it is very important that they grow up knowing this. You don't just not tell them about it and then spring it on them just before it happens to them. It's something, I have talked to my children, boys and girls, need to know about this. Boys as well as girls, because they're going to someday have a girlfriend, a wife, a daughter, and they also have a mother. So, this is things that is the natural order of life, and they need to be made aware. But anyway, if you have any questions, you should be able to go to, I would say leave me a comment below, but on this one, I'm going to say if you have any questions, because this is more of a medical than a let's discuss it thing. Kids, if you're a child watching this, I would say go to your parent, be it your mother, your father, or even a family person like an aunt or an older sister. If you don't feel comfortable with that, I would say go to a female teacher, or maybe a female person, an adult female person at the school you go to. If you're an adult watching this, I would say consult your family doctor or maybe a pharmacist. I've noticed over the years that if I have questions, I can call a Walgreens pharmacist, and they will talk to you a little bit. They will always refer you back to your family doctor, but they will talk to you about some things, and they will give you generalized information. Again, I'm not going to say leave me a comment asking me questions, because I'm not a medical person in any way, shape, or form. So all I can do is give you personal experience advice. So if you want to leave me a comment below, you can. And if you have a question, again, I will give you non-medical, personal, experienced answers. And I would not say to follow my advice in any way because everybody is different. But again, I will say that, you know, our daughters, our sisters, our nieces, young girls need to be made aware of this. And I will also say that young boys need to be made aware of this because they will someday be fathers, and they most likely are brothers, or they go to school with females, or, you know, their mom's a female. So yeah, if they see something like, you know, a used sanitary napkin in the trash can or something, you don't want your kid to think you're dying. So, you know, explain this to them. And hey, it's not the end of the world, girls. It's not the end. I know sometimes it feels like it because, you know, you go through different experiences, and, you know, we all get emotional and we think it's the end of the world, and it's not. I'm here 47 years later to tell you it's not. So when you get it, if you want to celebrate it and the fact that you're becoming a woman, as they say, then celebrate it. And if you don't, then don't. And, you know, I don't know what more I can say about it other than if you haven't got it, don't rush it. You've got plenty of time to get it. So here's a quick reminder, guys. I can be found all over the web nowadays. I am at Instagram at, here we go, I am Puppy Shark Z on Instagram and Crafting with Six on Facebook. Guys, let me tell you, over on Facebook I have a group and I enjoy making crafting things. And with the weather being as bad as it is now, crafting, coloring, making things, come on over and let's make it together. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up with, I hope your week is off to a good start. This November the 12th. Yesterday we got our first snow of the season, and so we got a good bit of snow on the ground out there, and it is cold. So if you are anywhere in any state or country where you got snow, be sure to bundle up and be safe out there, guys. Have a good one.